Hey, welcome back guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I am the Downward Doug. Today we're covering Warrior 1 in the 5-minute fix. So if you want to know how to do it and you only got 5 minutes, this is just the place for you. Get yourself onto a mat, and as always, hat's optional. I need that. Alright guys, so Warrior 1 is one of the first of the Warrior sequence, as it says in the name, but it is something that's often overlooked and something I see get wrong a lot more in class than, say, Warrior 2. And that's because there's a few refinements here that we often forget, and also our entry into them can be unusual sometimes, so we need to refine it ourselves to make sure it works for us. So let's all get to the top of our mat. Feet are normally together. I want you actually to separate your feet around hip width apart, and that'll become apparent why in just a second. From here, pour your weight into your left foot, bring your right knee up, good bit of balance work anyway, and just step that foot back. Now if that doesn't land in the best place to start with, just find your place, all right? Stay on the toes, inhale, hands come up. Now you might be thinking, hang on, this is crescent lunge. You're right, it is crescent lunge, but I just want you to get this feeling here. Notably, my feet are on two different tracks, okay? If I went here, it would start to feel pretty unstable, so that's why we started hip width apart. So get that foot back there, make sure it's on two train tracks. Once that's all in order, hands on your hips. Point your fingers forward, your index forwards, and that'll show you where your hips are pointing. From here, I just want you to drop your back heel down. Now, as you may notice, my hips now have come out to a slight 45. Now that's not the worst thing, but we are looking to get the hips forward. Two things can help. I can bring this left foot out wider, or vice versa, I can bring that foot out further to the side so that we're even on wider train tracks. Now my hips are a little more even. A big thing to note, when we look down at these feet, take your gaze to your back foot. Make sure this isn't happening. Push down to that blade edge, that outside edge of the foot. By doing that, that's going to turn on the quad. That quad turning on is now going to push the ground away, which is going to push this hip more towards the front, which is what we're looking for here. Hands still on the hips here. I make sure there's that nice bend in this left leg, just like in our Warrior 2 position, and that knee is tracking over the pinky edge. What we don't want is that knee caving in. Really hard on the knee, just like here, if we're on that blade edge, or on the inside edge rather, that inside of the knee is really working hard. Keep the knee pointing out to the side, keep both legs engaged. Act like you're pulling them towards one another as you're pressing into the ground. That's going to start to feel this lift in the midsection. Hands were on the hips. Now bring them onto the belly and the back, and see if you can just start to engage the core slightly. So we're not arching here, which is what your body wants to do. Just pull it all in with everything else engaged. Now that all feels good, hands now rise up to the ears. Now as I do this, I can feel that my body wants to arch immediately. So I fight it and I bring it in. If this is really hard on the shoulders, we bring the hands down into the cactus arms, and that opens up the shoulders, gives us a bit more space. If the hands are up, then what we don't want to do is lift the shoulders up, rather pull the shoulders down and back into the socket. Keeping the focus again on the legs, squeezing them towards one another, make sure they're active, pulling in to the midline, pulling up through the torso as the hips drop down. We breathe. And we hit our Warrior 1. Hands come in together. Come back on those toes to get out. Look forward. Give yourself a little hop forward. And you're back to where you started. So, I hope that was helpful. It was definitely quick. And give us a like, subscribe, or comment below on what you thought about it. And any other poses you would like us to cover in the future. I'm the Downward Doug. You've been awesome. We'll see you next time.